KidsPeace New England is part of the KidsPeace family of care. Since 1882, KidsPeace has been helping children gain the confidence to overcome crisis. Each day, over 2,000 children are offered hope and healing. KidsPeace has the nation's widest range of programs for kids and families. Our organization's aim is to help families anticipate crisis, to help at times of crisis, and to help children master crisis, to create a future in which every child can find help to overcome crisis, where and when it's needed.
At KidsPeace National Centers for Kids in Crisis of New England, we help children overcome crisis caused by trauma, emotional pain, family problems, and the modern pressures of growing up. Any discussion of KidsPeace New England has to begin with its location in Ellsworth, Maine, on a campus located at Graham Lake. Now, Maine is renowned for its natural beauty, its quality of life, and its hard-working people. KidsPeace staff members are dedicated to helping children overcome crisis.
Each child is provided with a service team. That service team belongs to them and consists of child care staff, education staff, medical staff, the psychiatrist, the psychologist, and social work. Those folks come to that team each week and offer their expertise and their understanding of that child, so that when that team takes a look, it's a well-rounded look at what the child may need for services while they're here.
My role on the service team is as facilitator of regular service planning meetings, and those meetings happen for each child every 90 days. Their parents or guardians, or in many cases Department of Human Services caseworkers, are invited to those meetings. Very often the sending school district will send a representative to those meetings. My role is to facilitate the child being at the center of those meetings. We work very hard at KidsPeace to make any treatment that we do very much child-centered and child-focused. So during the meetings, I always work with the kids to be able to speak their minds, to say what they feel will work for them, what they feel they need in their treatment at KidsPeace.
On the first day when the child is admitted here, we greet them with a guardian, give them a small tour of the lodge, the first building that they're in, where we usually perform the admission. I try to explain more about the program, try to make them comfortable before we start. We have an admission packet that the child needs to sign along with their guardian. That takes about a half an hour. We go through that process. Then they meet with a social worker that works on their unit, so they get to meet another person that they'll be working with a lot. After that, we try to move their stuff onto the unit where they'll be living, so they get a first glance at what the unit looks like and how large the living space is. After that, they meet with the nurse. She does her exam, and then they're moved in and welcomed by the rest of the staff.
I think I hear time and time again from guardians, Department of Human Services caseworkers, that they feel that the child is safe, will be safe while they're here. I hear that very often.
That is essential for all these children, that they at some level understand that they're in an environment that is safe. Once they feel safe, then this allows them to do the things that all children do naturally, and that's to explore. And this is a marvelous place where they can explore in safety.
When children first arrive at KidsPeace, they are assessed by a registered nurse within approximately 3 hours of arrival. That assessment, I feel, is very crucial. We're able to identify health care needs that may not have been addressed previously. It's nice to see children, especially when they come from the street or whatever, that these needs are taken care of immediately by a professional.
The primary goal that we have for all children when they arrive on campus cross-discipline, is discharge, is to get them out of here. After they go through our orientation program, we have 3 distinct educational programs. One is our middle level classrooms, which grades 6th, 7th, and 8th. One secondary program is geared for the freshman and sophomore years, and the other secondary program is for the junior and senior year. Prior to a child being discharged, we will be in contact with that child's sending school district to work with them in developing a program that we found to be successful with the child.
It's a risk-free environment. I approach the children in a way that I think that they understand that I will take responsibility for their education as well as themselves, so that, you know, we're a team, and it feels like we're a team. And for students who might be having difficulty, I think that we approach it more in a, what can we do to help this? Perhaps there's something I could do, cue that child to help them pay attention, and perhaps they could let me know when they're having difficulty before it gets to the point where they're so frustrated that they can't continue with their lessons.
The kids come home to the unit from school, and we have some free time for the kids. They go outside, play basketball. We have a rec room that they'll play ping pong or video games. After that, we have a scheduled time for homework time. The kids are in their rooms for 45 minutes, and that is their time to do their homework. Then they have a 45-minute time block to clean their rooms and to do house chores. Each of the kids are assigned various house chores, such as cleaning the bathroom, vacuuming the unit, emptying the trash, and at that time the kids perform those tasks. After that, we go down to dinner. When the kids come back from dinner, we offer them a choice of commitments for them to spend their evening time, and they're held to that commitment. If they break that commitment, they incur consequences. We try to have the kids stick with their decisions and responsibility for their actions.
Well, as far as when I work with the kids, I like to let all the kids make their choices, knowing full well that ahead of time that some of the choices aren't going to be the best. However, this is important in my eyes because it gives them an opportunity to learn from their mistakes. And even though they've made many mistakes in the past, this leaves the door open for teaching opportunities.
Well, a lot of times a kid comes in here and he's just had some kind of a crisis, an emotional crisis or a behavioral crisis, and he or she can express themselves through their art, and their feelings can come out in that art, or their mind can be taken away from whatever their problem is, and that in itself is therapeutic. It's great for their self-esteem. I mean, I think that every kid in every style of art has so much worth, and I try to let them all know that. And they're very good at praising each other on their artwork, and they learn from each other, and it's wonderful when you see in their eyes. You can see it in their faces.
I think one of the most frequent questions asked is, what is therapeutic recreation? And there's some confusion, I think, in the difference between therapeutic recreation and just recreation activities or recreation services. And just recreation services are provided by the child care workers in the units. And our department, the Therapeutic Recreation Department, provides treatment services. As every child comes in, we go through an assessment process and determine whether our department needs to provide services that may help a child with gross motor functioning, fine motor skill functioning, social or cognitive functioning in leisure activities that would help in the community. We also have an adventure-based component to our program that is also therapeutic in nature, and that is either high adventure activities like climbing, we do quick water paddling, we do some hiking in the park, and we do quite a few expeditions. And the expeditions are year-round. I think right now we're up to about 9 expeditions annually.
For a very long time, sound has been used in a variety of cultures for a multitude of reasons and purposes, one of which is to help people feel good, maybe to help people who have sickness of some type or another to heal. And if we see in today's societies and today's standards or ways of healing, sound is just beginning to be used in that way, but it's a very ancient way. And it's with this in mind that I use my flutes in that way. When we look at a person, we have to look at their whole being. And if there are aspects of that being that may be imbalanced or that may need some kind of changes, then again, the whole person has to come into play in that and be considered in that.